Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truth News. The next clip you are about to view has the details.
Poland, like I said, is just the first stop of Prime Minister Modi's trip. The next is Ukraine. He will leave for Kiev tomorrow evening. And the world will be watching this visit. One, because it's unprecedented. Narendra Modi will be the first Indian leader to visit Ukraine, the first ever. And reason number two, because of the timing. The war has shifted. It is now being fought on Russian land. Kiev is ramping up attacks on Moscow, and Prime Minister Modi's visit comes right in the middle of it. Take a look. These are Ukrainian forces pounding the Russian military. The fighting is happening in Kursk. It is in western Russia. It's been at the center of Ukraine's operations for the past 2 weeks. They've captured Russian territory here, more than 1,200 square kilometers of it. And this includes 92 settlements. And the success in Kursk seems to have emboldened Ukraine. Today they launched an attack on Moscow. Yes, the Russian capital. It came under a drone attack. At least 11 drones were shot down over Moscow. This was one of the largest drone attacks by Ukraine, and the target wasn't just Moscow. This was a broader operation. Reports say Ukraine launched more than 20 drones. Most of them were detected over Moscow, at least 11 in all were detected over Moscow. 6 other drones were destroyed over Belgorod, 3 over the Kaluga region, 2 over Kursk, and another 2 over the Tula region. These drones were all destroyed before they could do any harm, and perhaps that was not even Ukraine's objective. These attacks were more like a demonstration of capability. Kiev has shown how deep inside Russia it can strike. It can fly drones as far as Moscow, and Zelensky is using this demonstration to put pressure on the West. He wants his Western partners to lift restrictions on their weapons. And this has been a long-standing demand. The West doesn't allow Ukraine to use a lot of lethal weapons inside Russia. It is not allowed to use these weapons to strike Russia directly. The weapons are meant for self-defense, not offense. But Ukraine wants these curbs to be removed. It wants the ability to strike Russia with greater force.
If partners removed all existing restrictions on the use of weapons on Russian territory, we would not need physical entry, particularly into the Kursk region, to protect our Ukrainian citizens in the border area and destroy Russia's potential for aggression.
Zelensky wants to intensify the attacks on Russia. This means only one thing: a bigger clash in the coming days. Moscow is certainly preparing for it. It is sending more troops and military assets to the border regions. Locals here are getting warnings, like this one. Russians near the Ukrainian border have been asked to stop using dating apps. Apparently, they compromise safety, dating apps. Moscow believes that Ukrainian forces are also using the same apps to gather intelligence, so the locals in Russia have been asked to stay away from them. Moscow has also launched a counter-operation against the Ukrainians operating in Russia. They've managed to slow down the advances from Kiev, but Putin says a stronger response is coming.
The same way we fought with terrorists previously, now we fight with those who commit crimes in Kursk region, Donbass, and Novorossiya. But the same way we achieved our goals in the fight against terrorism, we will achieve our goals in the fight against neo-Nazism. And we will certainly punish the criminals. There can be no doubt about that.
That statement was for the Ukrainian soldiers. Putin calls them terrorists and criminals. He paid a visit to Chechnya yesterday, his first visit to the region in close to 13 years. Now, Chechnya is important. It has shaped Putin as a politician. It propelled him to the Russian presidency. In the late 1990s, Putin had launched the Second Chechen War. He was Russia's prime minister back then. The region used to be a hotspot for separatist movements and Islamist activities. Putin stamped out the separatists. The war in Chechnya made him extremely popular, and now he's counting on Chechen fighters to defeat Ukraine.
Одно дело
The one thing is to shoot at the shooting gallery here, and the other thing is to put life and health at risk. But you have an inner demand to fight for fatherland and courage to make such a decision.
There is hectic activity in Moscow as well. The Chinese premier is in town. Li Qiang is on a 4-day visit to Russia. He met with his Russian counterpart today. And what was the purpose of this visit? Well, both sides say that they want to strengthen ties, increase trade, expand cooperation in important areas like energy and nuclear power. But of course, the war will be discussed. Last week, Beijing had made an appeal asking both Russia and Ukraine to stop the escalation. The appeal fell on deaf ears. Ukraine wants to launch more attacks and Russia wants to retaliate hard. So a diplomatic solution looks unlikely at the moment because Putin and Zelensky still want to settle this on the battlefield.